Start, Chief Clerk, ready? The 18th day of the third regular session of the 21st Congress will now come to order. May we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Yeah, it's a difficult time for our nation. So, okay, Chief Clerk, roll call.
Senator Aritas, Senator Christian, Senator Figuer, Senator Coolant, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Conman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Neth, Senator Palik, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Usmal, Senator Welly, Speaker Simina.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, 11 members are present.
we have a quorum to transact business this morning. Next item, Floor Leader Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to dispense with the reading of the journal.
Any second? It's been moved and seconded that we dispense with the reading of our journal today. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. We now dispense with the reading of our journal. Once again, I would like to note for you members, I will give you till Monday to submit any kind of comments you have for our last session journals and submit them to Chief Clerk. And by the time, if nothing else, then they will proceed with finalizing the journals. Okay?
Speaker, point of privilege.
State your point, Chairman Perman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you, Vice, floor, members, and all of those that are observing our session this morning, including social media. Mr. Speaker, we have two citizens here with us this morning. They're from the Pombay State Legislature. That is the floor leader, Macari Mikel, and Senator Jason Walter, that are also observing our session this morning. Can we give them a round of applause?
Thank you, Chairman Perman, for introducing those two gentlemen. If I'm not mistaken, we were having some drinks last night, so they decided to join us based on some commitments I made to them. Okay?
Speaker,
Any further? Yes, Floor Leader Harper.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to state for the record that the floor leader of Ponape State Legislature is my Benene.
All the more reason we have to, welcome them to our session this morning.
Speaker,
Oh,
point of privilege. Thank
say your
you.
point, Senator Palik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you, honorable members, and those who are observing our session this morning. I would also like to introduce two of our leaders from Coxsacay State. Very honored to have the governor of Coxsacay State, Mr. Carson Sigra, the Honorable Carson Sigra, and his Chief of Staff, Rolinson Net. May I ask that we give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Senator Palik, for introducing Governor Sikra and his Chief of Staff. You are welcome joining our session. We appreciate your presence. Okay, any other point of privilege? If none, let's move on. Our order of business, Chief Clerk. Next item.
Mr. Speaker, the next item is item 5, presidential communications. There are none.
Short recess subject to call of the chair. Okay.
Speaker, before, can we continue for one
We're
short
still Congress is back in session. Next item, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, item 6, FSM Supreme Court Communications, there are none.
Continue.
Item 7, Member Communications, also none. Item 8, Departmental Communications, none. Item 9, Agency or Governmental Authority Communications, none. Item 10, State Communications, none. Item 11, State Supreme Court Communications, none. Item 12, Municipal or Town Communications, there are none. Item 13, Foreign Government Communications, on receipt of numbers 21-37 and 21-38, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sign those, Chief Clerk. Now we're on the order of the day. Item 14, Chief Clerk.
There are no reports, Mr. Speaker.
Next.
Item 15, Special Committee Reports, none also, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Item 16, Assignment of Measures and Communications, we have a referral sheet number 21-50.
Chairman and members, review that for your planning purposes. Next
Mr. Speaker,
is Senator Christian.
I'd like to move that we go to miscellaneous business.
There's no objection. We will now go on to miscellaneous business, item 21.
Point of
Hey,
privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Christian.
Mr. Speaker, on the issue of protecting the health and welfare of the people of Micronesia, yesterday Congress adopted Congressional Resolution 21117, which, among other things, removed the travel restrictions for countries other than mainland China. The effective date of this resolution is February 12, 2020. The other things that that resolution did was corrected citations of the Constitution that was initially made under the issuance of the order by the President. That was a corrective matter. Secondly, it extended the duration of the executive order from 30 days to 60 days. If I'm not wrong, shake your head or nod, Lamb, if you're agreeing with me, to 30 days. The other thing that it did was to increase the authorization for spending for the President. And the other thing it did is, as we've heard, is remove the 14-day restriction. However, there is misinformation being shared publicly and on social media, suggesting that this resolution is not official. This is not a congressional bill that requires the endorsement of a president. This bill is official, and it is in effect currently in effect. The Congress of the Federated States of Micronesia is given this exclusive authority to revoke, to amend, or to extend the declaration of emergency through Article 10, Section 9 of the FSM Constitution, and pursuant to that grant of authority under the Constitution, Congress responded to the emergency by following the World Health Organization published guidelines, which says that it advises against the application of any restrictions of international traffic based on the information currently available on this event. Mr. Speaker, WHO is a renowned global authority regarding health emergencies, and they rely on scientifically verified data. And it is on their advice that this Congress does what it does often. What we did was we reacted to this explosion of coronavirus around the globe. We effectively closed our doors for so many days, so many weeks, while we look out the window to see what is happening globally. And having seen what we saw, and having seen what other countries are doing, this Congress decided that perhaps it would not be necessary to continue to close our doors or to require a 14-day incubation in some other country for other citizens coming from countries other than mainland China at the moment. This includes our own citizens desiring to return to the FSM. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for allowing us to go to miscellaneous business so that I could finish this concern of mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Christian, for the statement. It is true, when we met with President the first time the declaration was issued, we agreed with him that the better strategy is to start with the extremes, because everything at that time was unknown. We did not know anything. So it was best to be more cautious, on the cautious side. And then as we go along, now it's about 2 weeks later, we have some information that can support the decision we made yesterday through that resolution. So thank you for the statement, Senator Christian. Any other miscellaneous before we go back?
Speaker,
Okay, Floor Leader Harbor.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. During this miscellaneous, I'm rising on a point of privilege to again ask this Congress to welcome and recognize two of our citizens who are also observing our session this morning, and they are from Chuk. And if I may start off with Mayor of Tonoas, Douglas Resalap, and Arthur Lincoln from the island of Kudu in the Morlocks. Please, let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Floor Leader Harper, for introducing those two gentlemen. Of course, the mayor, let the record reflect, is my brother-in-law, so I especially welcome him. Okay, any
Mr.
other
Speaker,
point of privilege? Yes.
Now I understand why you prayed very long this morning.
Okay, any other miscellaneous? If none, if there's no objection, we go back. Chief Clerk?
Mr. Speaker, on item 17, unfinished business, we do not have any.
Okay, next
Item
item.
18, bill calendar.
First bill.
Mr. Speaker, the first bill is CB number 21-29 for second reading from your Committee on R&D. CB number 21-29 is a bill for an act to further amend Section 404 of Title 24 of the Code of the Federal Districts of Micronesia as annotated, as amended by Public Law number 19-169, to grant the National Oceanic Resource Management Authority, or NORMA, the discretion to exempt a fishing vessel from the prohibition of fishing in neighboring high seas and for other purposes.
Chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. I move for the passage on second and final reading the said bill.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading Bill number 21-29. Discussion? Any discussion? If none, there is no objection. Discussion is closed. Let's vote by roll call of delegations. Chief Clerk.
State of Chuk, Chairman Aritos. State of Pohnpei, Chairman Perman.
Amen.
State of Koshai, Chairman Wali. State of Yap, Chairman Ursamal.
I yield the floor to Chairman Fugir.
Chairman Figuer.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all the four states voted in favor.
For that reason, CP number 21-29 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
Mr. Speaker, the next bill is CB number 21-127 for second reading. CB number 21-127 is a bill. It's a bill for an act to further amend Section 226 of Title 55 of the Code of the Federal Districts of Micronesia as annotated, as amended by Public Law number 21-17 by amending a subsection 2B for the purpose of requiring the Secretary of the Department of Finance and Administration to submit the required revenues projection reports under penalty of perjury, and to add a new subsection 2C for the purpose of requiring the Secretary of the Department of Finance and Administration to explain in writing any 10% variance in any line item submitted under subsection 2B of this section and for other purposes.
Short recess. We call up the chair. Congress is back in session. Chairman Figueroa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to defer action on Congress Bill number 21-108, 21-127 on final, second and final reading to the next session of Congress.
Any second? It's been moved and seconded that CB number 21-127 be deferred to the next session of Congress. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. 21-127 is deferred to the next session of Congress. Next bill.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Point of privilege.
Chairman Perman, you have the
Yeah.
floor.
Thank you. I rise on a point of privilege again to recognize Salomon Permanis, Youth Coordinator for Sokas Municipal Government, and Roxanne Abel, Office Assistant TSP. Can we, Talton Jack, can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you, Chairman Perman. Our citizens are welcome indeed to observe our session, and we're grateful for their presence. Okay, Senator Arias.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to follow suit to introduce Grace Funenet, Director of Education, Sioux State, is in the gallery observing our session this morning.
Thank you, Senator Arias, for introducing Pinene of ours, constituent. Okay, he's always welcome to observe our session when he's in town. Okay, any other point of privilege? If none, so you don't have any bill to withdraw to place? If none, we now go down to resolution calendar. First resolution.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have Commissioner Resolution number 21-95 for adoption. CR number 21-95 is a resolution to make available $10 million from China grant funding that is currently available to the Federated States of Micronesia to fund road improvements in Pohnpei State.
So move.
Mr. Speaker,
Chairman Mullet.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your committee, EXEF committee, met with the department, EXEF, yesterday regarding the state resolution here. And we learned from 2007 until today, there is no such thing as money that is available for this resolution here. The only money that is, or funding that is forthcoming is the 11.4 million that is in the process of being signed here. That's the only, it's not available for use at this time, but it's forthcoming. No one seemed to know what happened to the 5 million that was promised to Kusai and the other states. No one seemed to know where that funding is or what department is it taking care of it. So I would move that we defer action on the state resolution till next session of Congress when the money become available. Thank you.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Chairman Wally, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to defer action on the said resolution till next session of Congress.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Resolution 21-95 be deferred to the next session of Congress. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Resolution 21-95 is deferred to the next session of Congress. Next resolution.
Mr. Speaker, we have motion or resolution number 21-108 for adoption from your Committee on Ways and Means. CR number 21-108 is a resolution to confirm the nomination of Secretary Eugene Amor to serve as a representative of the Everson government to the Joint Trust Fund Committee.
Chairman Fakir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt resolution number 21-108. Discussion. Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. Short recess subject to call of the chair. We're good, clerk? Congress is back in session. Announce the results, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, 8 members voted in favor, 3 against.
For that reason, resolution number 21-108 is not adopted by Congress. The nomination is not confirmed. Next resolution.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Short recess subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still on the resolution calendar. If there is no, yes, Vice Speaker Moses, you have the
Thank
floor.
you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you, members, and those that are observing our session this morning. I would like to ask Congress for something, and then maybe we can sleep on it until our next special session or the next regular session, and that is, I would like to move to reconsider CR number 21-108.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress reconsider its action on Resolution 21-108. That is not debatable, so we will vote with the same number of votes required and the same method of voting. That's by secret ballot. Short recess. Session announce the results on the vote of reconsideration.
Mr. Speaker, for reconsideration on CB 21-108, 10 members voted for reconsideration, 1 against.
For that reason, the motion for reconsideration is passed.
Motion
It's
to
adopted.
defer
So
action on the,
we now have Resolution 21-108 back on the resolution calendar. Okay, any motion?
motion to defer action to our next session.
It's been moved and seconded that resolution number 21-108 be deferred to the next session of Congress. Those in favor of the motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Resolution number 21-108 is deferred to the next session of Congress. Next resolution.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, if there is no further business under resolution calendar, next item.
Item 20, Mr. Speaker, introduction of bills and resolutions.
If you have any measure to introduce, pass them on to Chief Work. Next item.
Item 21, miscellaneous communications. There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Miscellaneous business.
Do you have any miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker,
Chairman Wally.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the resolution that I deferred earlier regarding China crime, I would suggest that since this is a money matter, I would suggest that you allow Chairman of Ways and Means and Lam to travel to China and find out after session what happened to the money. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Wally. I will send them if it's going to be to Wuhan. Okay. Any other miscellaneous business? Floor leader?
Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Floor leader Harper, you have any?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to express on behalf of the presiders and all the honorable members our great gratitude to our staff for all the artworks that they have put into our regular session at this time, which has made it possible for everything to be done properly. In addition to that, on behalf of the three officers, I like to express our gratitude to our own colleagues all the chairman, vice chairman, for what they have done to all the work. Without their good effort or hard work, the session would not be as successful as it is today. And furthermore, Mr. Speaker, I like to move that all the journal from the first day until today will be reviewed by the presiders with the assistance of the proper staff and be approved by the presiders. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
It's been moved and seconded that our journals and from day one till today and other documents be reviewed, that the presiding officers be authorized to review them and correct them as necessary. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. So be it. And just again, a reminder to members, please do your own reviewing, because we cannot change your statements or correct your statements that are made in substance. So we would like to see you do your own reviewing also. Okay, if there's no further business,
Speaker,
yes, Chairman Fakir.
if I may, before the floor leader does his work, I want to announce that the Ways and Means Committee will have a meeting with Finance tomorrow regarding revenue projection. We may touch on a little bit on foreign aid and the accounting system. Some accounts that need to be that required by law and by our Constitution, whether they're officially open or established in the Department of Finance. And also the bill that we defer action on. We're going to put them on and ask them to prepare for more hearing during the next session, either special or regular session of Congress. So I ask that the members of the committee and other members of Congress can join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Fakir, for that. And also remind them that our revolving funds reports have been overdue. So they must submit. Remember, we just amended that to make it more clear for them to submit reports. Chairman Willing?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your committee on XF will be forwarding a request to you for travel to Hawaii to confirmation hearing on the nominee for the Consul General's position. Thank you.
Okay, thank
so
you.
So if you want to travel, please submit your name to Catherine.
Thank you, Chairman Willing, but those who are missing today cannot join you. So that's their punishment. Okay?
Speaker?
Yes, Floor Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Without any objection, I move that this third session is now adjourned sine die.
It's been moved and seconded that the third regular session be adjourned sine die. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Let's all rise. The third regular session of the 21st Congress is now declared adjourned sine die.